We spoke about the four idols, right? So what is it? Money, power,
Pleasure
pleasure,
and fame.
fame. Got
Fame
it.
is really a funny one, though, because most people listening to us are like, I don't want to be famous. Yeah, but you want to be admired by others and you want to have some prestige. And that's localized fame. That's to be
Hmm.
known and admired by the right people. It's exactly the same phenomenon philosophically and psychologically.
So let's explore those a little bit more. Is it necessarily the case that we are hardwired to have preferences along that spectrum? Or how much of that? Well, I suspect it's both nurture and nature, right? I can imagine that the circumstances by which you grow up would heavily influence that. But how much of that do you think is sort of hardwired versus developed as a result of circumstances?
So there's a lot of research on that. And what most of the philosophy would suggest, and even the evolutionary psychologists would suggest that we're hardwired to be looking for money, power, pleasure, and fame because that gives us fitness in the mating market. I mean, it's who gets mates? Somebody who's got a bigger cave, more flints, more animal skins, more buffalo jerky piled up in the corner. It is actually known by more troglodytes than troglodytes that he or she knows. I mean, this gives you mating fitness. And so the
Hmm.
result is this would become an imperative. It would become a hardwired imperative. And then you have all kinds of evidence of this. You actually find that when people are kind of at their base nature, when they're being distracted, they will go for these particular rewards over much more intrinsic, more satisfying rewards having to do with love. They will go for these types of rewards all day long. We see this in our consumer patterns. We even see some of the really interesting neuroscience research talks about it, how it will illuminate our brains, how it will stimulate the most dopamine. The most dopamine comes from these not very satisfying rewards, but nonetheless the ones that we're supposed to go for. Now, here's the key thing to keep in mind. Mother Nature wants you to pass on your genes. Mother Nature wants Peter Attia to have like 100 kids, right? But of course, you don't want that. You want three, and you want to have a lifelong partnership with one wife. And that means that you can't live the hippie motto of if it feels good, do it. That is the motto of useful idiots. Now, that's, by the way, there's other stupid mottos like if it feels terrible, treat it and make it go away, because suffering is really important in a full life too, it turns out. But the key thing to keep in mind is that Mother Nature, she doesn't care if you're happy. She doesn't care. That's not Mother Nature. We don't select on happiness. We select on biological fitness to mate, to pass on our genes. And so the result is if you follow, if it feels good, do it, you're going to be chasing a whole lot of very fleeting rewards for what you think is enduring satisfaction. And you're going to have your hedonic treadmill speeding at a terrifying velocity, and you won't even know how to get off it. You need to get in charge of your own life is the bottom line.